Welcome to this demonstration of the Practice Library. In this video we will discuss how the Practice Library can be used and its relation to other tools. So we have previously been looking at the content of the Practice Library in terms of practice and method publications, as can be accessed there through the home page in the library. So the question is then how this information can be used within teams to influence their way of working. So I'm going to switch to another presentation here. So a very simple way of using the Practice Library publications in a team is to browse for and select a practice that is relevant and then adopt and use some of its element guidelines and cards. And in particular, as we previously mentioned, particular cards can be printed and used hands-on to plan and drive work, to play games and so on within the team. And then team members can refer to the online publications for more detailed guidelines when needed. This is, however, a very simple way of adopting and applying practices, because it may not be clear exactly how and to what extent each practice is actually being used. So to scale and manage this practice adoption in a more professional manner, other complementing tools will be needed, including, for example, something that we call a practice exchange. So the role of the practice exchange would be to be able to describe the way of working for a team. That means to describe exactly what practices are being used, how these practices are being used, and what resources that are being used in relation to these practices. And here team members can collaborate based on the practices and share relevant information and resources. There can of course also be several teams involved, and they may all share the same practices and resources. There may also be team-specific practices and resources managed on the practice exchange that are only to be used and viewed by these specific teams. So this way we can actually manage and support an organization with several teams involved and then help all these teams work in similar and shared ways. So in some way we scale this support to the organization level here when it comes to adopting and deploying practices. Also at some point, organizations typically need to adapt practices, either by creating their own practices or modifying and using existing practices in specialized ways. And for this purpose, we have the Practice Workbench tool available. And of course, all these tools work together. So the practices that we currently find in the Practice Library have all been developed using the Practice Workbench tool. And the practice assets and publications shared on the Practice Exchange also originates from the Practice Workbench. So all these tools work together in that sense, and the Practice Library is actually just one piece of the puzzle here. This concludes this demonstration of how the Practice Library works and its relation to other tools. Thanks for watching.